Good morning, welcome along to day 2, round 2 of the Quilter Cheviot British Open 2026, a diamond event on the PSA Squash Tour. We're coming to you live from the Rep Theatre here in Birmingham. It's 11:30 local time. We're just about to open the doors and let the public in. 816 seats will be full to the brim this evening and this afternoon as they watch the world's best squash players in action competing for the British Open. Welcome on board. Let's remind ourselves of what happened just 15 days ago at the World Championships, where the women really stole the show.
People watch. So they have it all. They have the competitiveness, they have the flair, they have the sportsmanship. They have also the animosity sometimes, and girls don't like each other, which is normal, but they still keep it at a certain level. And that's it. You're in a box, you're in a cube. Stay in the cube.
To a semi-final between Amina Orfi and
I'm just looking forward to see what I did wrong last time and just play my squash, and hopefully it's going to be a good match.
It was a heartbreaker last year. I was in a good position. Really looking forward to the test.
The semi-final is huge pressure. Lots on the line. You're writing your future.
And they know what they do. They know the game plans. They are in the semi-finals for a reason.
You have the teacher playing the student today. This is the final. Give the people a legendary clap.
History will be made one way or another.
I feel when you just want it so much, sometimes it can push you and sometimes it can break you, and I'm glad it pushed me too.
Amina Orfi, you are world champion! Great memories from Cairo just 15 days ago. We welcome to the Squash TV studio Lisa Aitken and Paul Johnson, and let's just cast our mind back a couple of weeks to those fabulous pictures that we just saw there with Amina Orfi taking the title, Lisa.
I'm telling you what an embarrassment for the sport that video was. Get that on replay all week. Just watching back makes me quite emotional, actually. You know, you get to the end of the season, 2 biggest events left, the World Championship, the British Open, and you start to feel really proud of what those players are doing out there. Incredible scenes, great memories, unbelievable matches at the World Championships, and just that last picture there, Amina Orfi with the glasses on, holding the trophy. A lot of people wouldn't have called that.
PJ, I don't think any of the commentators or pundits called her to be the champion at the end of the day.
No, it was one of the most highly anticipated world champs for me, especially in the women's event. So many potential storylines. Could Shabini finally get that 9th title? Could Hamami win her first? Orfi wasn't in great form going into the event. Hamami took her down 3-love in the El Guna, and all of a sudden, from under the radar, we've got history again in the making with Orfi. Unbelievable.
She silenced the critics as well, didn't she, Lisa? Because there was sort of a lot of controversy building up to that. We're building up rivalries between her and the likes of Hania El Hamami and Nour El Shabini, who she beat in the final to deny her that 9th World Championship. So it's good from a TV perspective as well.
Absolutely, she certainly shut a lot of people up, that's for sure, the way she went about her business that tournament. As you mentioned, there was a lot of controversy surrounding her, surrounding her family, and she came in and she wiped the floor. What was impressive for me, though, Michael, was I was questioning whether she was capable of doing it at the Grasshopper. I didn't think she played a particularly her best style of squash. I thought she looked confused. So when I saw that there was the change in coach with Omar Mossad, I wasn't shocked. I could tell that she just wasn't quite settled. But I mean, she managed to really turn that around, and she was a totally different player at the World Championships. 18 years of age, PJ.
I mean, that decision of obviously getting rid of Mossad, that stunned everybody. And to do that on the eve of the World Championships, We'd seen kind of few improvements in Orfi's game, but nothing kind of that major. But to have the courage to get rid of your coach and fire your coach ultimately the day before you're going into the biggest event of the season was an extremely gutsy decision to be made. But in hindsight, it paid off, and it was the right decision for her.
She was very sorry. Go on, off to you.
By her as well, though. The most important point. There was a lot of chatter about the control factor of the parents. She's an 18-year-old. She's just a kid, really, and I can imagine my parents would want to keep me under wraps and make a lot of decisions for me. But to be honest, she showed that she's not arriving at the party and coming. She is there, and she's making these decisions herself. I thought it was a very bold call. It could have gone horribly wrong, but it went right.
Okay, well, we've talked a lot about the big three, and these are the big three over the last 50 titles that they've won amongst themselves. Nour El Shebini, Nurhan Gohar and El Hamami accumulating those 50 tournament wins over 6 years, and that was their huge stamp and grasp on the game, and now Amina Orfi has broken that.
I think what's really cool about this is for so long now we've spoken about the big three, and kudos to them. Do you know what? They've changed the game for the better. The physicality, the tactical element, how the modern era game in the women's game has changed is down to these three players that you can see, and we've spoken about it for so long. The number of titles that they've racked up there is incredible. For someone to just swoop in and all of a sudden be right up there in the mix, challenging all three of those players every single event, is incredible.
We've been busy stats-wise as well, and we thought we'd draw some comparisons at age 19 of where these players were in their career compared to where Orfi is. She's on the right of your screen. Number of titles won, matches played, and win rate. So what stands out from those stats?
I mean, pretty much every stat there, Michael, is impressive from Orfi, isn't it? She's already at 79% win rate already, but for me, the fact that she's won 128 matches already, which massively surpasses all of those rivals. I mean, if you look at 4 titles for both Shebini and Gohar, also Hamami, and already just 18 years of age, Orfi's up at 12. I mean, it's just astonishing. I mean, you could literally stand there for hours talking about the stats and the trajectory and the path that Orfi's on. It's amazing.
Obviously, you've got El Hamami not yet to lift that World Championship title as well, but El Shebini, she's the 8. She's the magic number of 8, and it took her to 20 to get her first World Championship title. She made the final the year before. She was the runner-up to Laura Mazzaro, who's actually behind us right now. Gohar, another great of the game, legend, all those stats are incredible, 26 years of age. Hani El Hamami, right up there at the top. She was the number 1 seed, yet to win it, and already she's got that title at 18 years old. She's turned 19. She's out the juniors finally this month.
PJ, she's now the junior world champion, the senior world champion. You know, what's the bar? How far can she go with this career? She's broken the big three. Well, we have to start talking about the big four now,
question,
don't we?
because she's already at 79% win rate. If you look at where the other 3 players were at that same age, then if you look at Shebini now, she's at 80% win rate. If you look at Hamami, it's 75%. And Gohar's at 78%. So they've actually raised their percentage levels as they progress through the tour. She's now a marked player, isn't she, Orfi? So all of a sudden, this is going to be a massively different pressure and dynamic for her. She's now the hunted instead of the hunter. How she handles and deals with that pressure is going to be a huge, huge talking point. Now everybody's going to be gunning for her as the season evolves.
I think she's dealt with that well, though. Do you not think, coming in, she has beaten those players before? Obviously, Gohar, she's not here, she's not played her. She'll come back and she'll be absolutely unbelievable, there's no doubt about it. But she's shown she's capable of doing it in those big matches, in those big moments. Even when she's lost, it's been 3-2. Pressure. The pressure factor has never looked like it's something that Orfi struggled with.
True.
And that, you have to give her credit for that. She's 18 years old and she tackles these big moments like she's been doing it for years.
Could that be because of the fearlessness, or not a naivety, but the lack of scarring that she's had at that age? She's coming in, she's looking up to those great 3 players that we're talking about, and they're her benchmark. For me, I just feel that there could be a little bit of a shift into the mentality that she'll take as she steps onto the court now. Could it be a release of confidence and even more belief that she's kind of claimed the junior and the world senior titles? mean, there's so many variables and possibilities now for her.
I mean, the three players that we're speaking about, Noor El Shebini, Hani El Hammami, Nouran Gohar, spoke that they'd changed the game, changed the women's game, certainly the physicality side of things. I think we'll be here in 3 years' time saying Amina Orfi did that to the women's game. It's going to have to change again, and that's credit to her on her own.
She might have had a gold medal round her neck as well from the Olympic Games by then as well. You never know. Now listen, World Championships, let's just keep talking on that. 8 World Championship titles for Noor El Shebini, 8 for Nicole David. Just looking at those stats there, Amina Orfi starting her run as world champion, 2 years younger than El Shebini, as you were saying, at 20 was. So can she go on and surpass both of those athletes and be a 9-time champion, a 10-time champion?
I think what you've got to look at is what's coming up behind Orfi. Now, if you look at Shebini's obviously in the twilight period of her career. She's not old by any stretch, but Gohar's just had a baby, she's 30, and Hammami's 25 years of age. So there's a 7-year age gap between Hammami and Orfi. But then it's what's coming up behind Orfi, the younger juniors. We've got Anahat Singh, obviously from India. She's going to be a potential threat for Orfi. But aside from that, there's no reason why she can't go on and surpass the 8 world titles.
Even the players that are ranked sort of outside that, the big four, if you like. So,
can we just start calling it now? Can we just officially put a stamp on it today? Let's just call it the big four from now on.
It's definitely the big four, but what's also exciting is you've got Satomi Watanabe has a 5-4 head-to-head against Amina Orfi.
Yeah.
It's a really close head-to-head. Siva Sangare Subramaniam has beaten Orfi twice as well, so you're not saying it's the 4 off on their own and you've got almost the chasing pack, if you like, coming in behind them. Those players are capable of beating them as well, but what this does, what Amina Orfi is doing to these players coming behind in the rankings is making them improve, making their physicality improve, but tactically as well. How can I break this player down? So these players are going to get better and better, and I think that's really exciting as well.
Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about the men's champion now as well. Mustafa Asal, a 2-time world champion, backed up that world championship win here in Chicago against Ali Farag, taking the final there and then backing it up just 15 days ago in Cairo, winning his 2nd world championship. So PJ, just your thoughts on him as a champion that was able to defend his title.
He's a changed man since that performance that we see there, Mustafa Asal, when he took Farag down. For me, he's had a few issues that he's needed to go and work on regarding his movement and the targeting possibly from other players and the referees. He's tidied that up a little bit, and I think he's really he's all the better for it. I think he's turned himself into a more complete player, and the way he's dominating these draws and going through 3 games to love, and the way that he's beating his opponents at the moment is again, you've got to start talking and putting him in amongst the greats in the men's game as well.
A different final this year as well, though. I mean, Ali Farag, the defeated finalist from a year ago, last year, but this year it was Yusuf Ibrahim, who we know has been struggling with that shoulder all season as well, so that was a bit of a surprise.
That either, the shoulder injury is bad. You know, he's not here at this tournament. It's a very prestigious tournament.
Yes, but when it is number one, we've got one.
There
could be a few more uses of that word, Michael, throughout the week, that's for sure.
They're all prestigious, aren't they?
They are
the British Open.
After Optasia as well, it was almost borderline whether he was going to play any more further part in the season. So
exactly,
to go on from there.
Yeah, to miss this one as well, you know, that just
and
shows.
And maybe the tour finals as well.
Yeah, he's going to obviously have the shoulder surgery, but yeah, surprise finalist. I think that was a cool storyline though for the men's draw. Was it?
So let's talk Mustafa Asal. That's where we really want to get into here. You talked a little bit about the evolution in that year period.
Yeah.
And where else has he evolved as an athlete? And how good is he? Is he better than the greats of yesteryear?
I think it could be a little bit of time before we really see the dominance. What was interesting for me was he wasn't really challenged when Elias wasn't featuring in the tournaments. Elias had a bit of a knee injury, so he was out for part of the season. From that point on, Mustafa was really absolutely slicing his way through the draws. So I think Elias is going to be a key factor to who can really trouble.
I mean, I think when you win 2 back-to-back world championships, you're certainly putting your name up there for heading in that trajectory of the world's greatest.
How many is he going to win?
This tournament?
Well, no, Mustafa Asal, how many world titles will he win?
I'm going to say he's going to win less than Amina Orfi, but it's going to be over 4.
Okay, so more than Ali Farag.
I'm going to say so.
I'm going up there. I'm going to go 6.
I'm going to go 6. Neck on the line.
I'm going to go 6.
We'll get back to you in about 10 years' time and let you know how you did.
Hopefully we're still around to see if it actually unfolds.
I certainly will be.
Thanks very much for the quick chat, Lisa. PJ there with us all week. And also Rally 28, your chance to get involved. And here's how we're uniting the squash community.
squash is heading to the Olympics at last. But inclusion isn't the end of our journey. This is how we turn pride into progress. Players, clubs, fans, federations, one movement. This is Rally 28. Support squash, build a legacy.
So here's how you can get involved. You can be there at LA 2028 Olympic Games. Imagine that. You could be there at day one by scanning that QR code at the bottom right of your screen now. You'll find out more information about Rally 28 and how you can get involved. But how cool would that be to be in Los Angeles in just over 2 years' time? Nicole Bunyan and Joey Barrington join us in the studio to continue the chat here on day 2, round 2 of the British Open. Good afternoon. Well, almost.
Morning.
15 minutes to go. Good morning. Rally 28, let's talk about that first of all. What a great initiative.
I mean, I think it's so exciting for all of the players and the clubs and the coaches who have always, wanted to see squash in the Olympics and always been like, oh, unfortunately, it's not in the Olympics, no, and no one knows what it is. This is such a good chance for them to put together these initiatives like they're doing with Rally 2028 and be able to actually have something for people to then go and look towards at clubs, having tournaments or events or whatever it is, that then people can actually grow with that awareness of the sport. Because right now, not enough people actually know what squash is.
Do you agree, Joey?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of the kind of thinking outside the box with the outdoor courts and getting young players getting into the sport with the rebound aspect, not structuralizing it to squash as it's in its own right, and just expose them all to all the different types of games you can play within the squash world, particularly outside though. I love those outdoor courts.
Amazing, isn't it? Yeah, just trying to get people to get a squash racket in their hand and, like you say, just whack it against anything. Get involved. Right, we're talking Mustafa Asal. We were just chatting with PJ and Lisa a bit about it. Just your take on him as a player and how good he is.
I mean, I think one of the things that sets Asal apart from everyone else is he has 2 massive super strengths. So that's a quote from Nick Matthew, a former world champion and world #1 himself. So he's got the power in his hitting and he's got the power in his movement. And I don't think that anyone else on tour on the men's side can rival that. And I think that that's really what sets him apart.
Joey, what makes him such a good player?
I mean, at the moment, the contenders for trying to trouble him are limited. You've got to start looking at past possibly Diego Elias and now Joel Makin, who's starting to falter slightly with his body, sadly, at Jonah Bryan, who's now injured, and Zakaria. But he's, as Nicole was saying, the power there in the movement, the hitting. But for me, the one kind of slight chink in that impenetrable armour that he has is the endurance side of things. But nobody can get him to that stage. There's been glimpses.
So powerful. That's the thing,
there's been
no one
glimpses
can
this
test him
season. Paul Cole in Chicago. And then obviously Diego getting that win over him, but it's that aerobic capacity. He's a very, very big guy, and it's trying to extend those matches. In the past, the great players, Nick Matthew, Gregory Gaultier, Rami Ashur and the Khans would play matches that were nearly close to 2 hours, and that would be the test. Somebody that can match the physical power, but also take him into that awful, uncomfortable phase of lactic acid and endurance and really test his lungs and test his mental capacity in that way.
Where would he have stacked up against some of those great names, a few of them that you just mentioned that we're going to show on our screen now?
Well, I mean, the more Egyptian dominance in more recent period, I'd love to have seen him play against all these different players, but Rami Ashur particularly, with that unique style of play that he had, the way he was able to adapt his game to any of these players. Nick Matthew and Gregory Gaultier at their prime would have been able to extend him into kind of the 90-minute mode.
And let's not forget James Willstrop
well,
as
James
well.
Willstrop, who's coaching him now, isn't he? So, I mean, that would have been an interesting combo.
Well, it just would have been amazing to see the contrast in styles, like Joey was saying. I mean, seeing Rami Ashur with his skill and his deception and him taking on the power of Mustafa Asal, I think would have been a treat for everyone to see. Willstrop as well with his craft and deception, and then of course the Wolf Nick Matthew as well with his prowess, with the physicality. I think it'd be so cool just to see the different styles, and because that's what the Elias Asal encounter is so interesting. That's what makes it so interesting.
I want to mention Mohamed El Shabagi at his prime, because he had that physicality going through that period against Nick Matthew and Gregory Gaultier and Rami Ashur. his physical prime against Mustafa Asal now would have been a fascinating, because of the edge as well with Mohammed and the gamesmanship. That would have been an outrageous encounter.
Yeah, he was the world champion in 2017, and also 800th match today we're hearing from Mohammed El Shorbagy. So huge moment. He's still going, and he's still
going.
The record to just keep
he's
going
still
and
going.
going.
I keep saying his star sign. I'm not massively into it, but he is a goat. He's a mountain goat. He's just churning up there.
Sagittarius. What's a goat?
Capricorn.
Capricorn.
Yeah,
I didn't
Capricorn.
know that.
Yeah, there you go.
You're really good with the star signs. Are you into your star signs?
Not as much as he is, obviously.
Okay.
I can't give you any stats about
But he sets these records non-stop. I don't know when he is going to stop, but I hope he's healthy for this British Open, because that's a milestone. 800 matches, superb.
Well, we'll see him in action later today. Let's talk a little bit about your defending champions. Diego Elias is your defending men's champion. He won the title for the first time last year, and he beats Mustafa Asal in that men's final. So he's certainly going to be another contender again this season, isn't he, Nicole?
Always. If Elias is healthy and he's physically fit and he can deal with all of the other little bits that tend to come into play and those little bumps here and there on the court, then I think that Elias has got a very good chance. But it just goes back and forth, doesn't it? And unfortunately, though, for Elias, I feel that Asal has had the edge in the last few.
Yeah, I mean, Elias is defending champion, and he didn't defend his world championship when he won it in 2024. He's defending champion here. They're going to meet each other in the semi-finals if it goes to plan. If we don't see an upset, the crowd here will get behind Elias as well as Asal, so it'll be quite a neutral crowd compared to the Lions Den in Cairo.
I think they've got a bit of a Sunday hangover. They're just going through their sort of warm-up routine there as well. With
it's
Tom
a very
Bushell,
busy
the
day
MC.
today. It's brilliant for
It
the
is.
first, for the second round. It's a great.
745 tickets sold. So there's, by my calculations, about 70 left.
There's a few going outside on the black market. I saw some of the PSA representatives. I'll give Shuri a shout there, just selling a few.
And just talk a little bit about this atmosphere. You've been here a load, Joey, and you've commentated here. Like, how does this differ? It's our fourth consecutive year at the Rep Theatre. How does it differ from the other tournaments this season?
This is the best presented tournament for me. I love the outdoor venues, and they give a really good, show of squash. You're up against the elements, which can be a little bit of an issue at times, but the British Open is the most prestigious. I don't know if anyone's mentioned that yet, but the historic event, it was the original World Championships before that came in '76. And the way the crowd get behind it here, the acoustics in this venue, squash is always, for an indoor setting, a theatre venue is perfect. You know from your acting career, Michael, that everyone gets a good seat. You could be right up in the far top left and still see the brilliant squash that goes on down here on stage. So this is the perfect home, and it's in the middle of the country as well, which is great from a geographical point of view.
Yeah, easily accessible for everyone around the country to come and watch. I actually had the privilege of playing the first match on here last year on the glass, and you do really feel like you're center stage out there, and so it was pretty cool.
Good it didn't sky you, that's the main thing. Let's talk women's defending champion next. Nuran Gohar, she's missing. She's made 6 women's finals here, and she took out Nour El Shabini in the final last year. As we look back at championship ball, good times for her, but missing this year.
Missing this year, and the history she has in the British Open, being 3-time winner and playing the final against Nour El Shabini in 2016 when she was only 18 years of age. She was still a junior, the British junior champion at that time, Gohar. And what's kind of fascinating about her, she's chosen to obviously wanting to have a child. She's had the child, and she kind of took that sabbatical at the peak of her career. You don't really see that in sports. Usually they wait a little bit longer towards the back end, twilight of the career, to think, you know what, I'm going to go. I mean, Nicole, obviously, I mean, it's in the mind, isn't it, all the time? But she was actually at her peak when she chose to take time out.
I mean, I think for someone like Gohar, where her body has been in really good physical condition for quite some time, and we don't see any signs of that slowing down, I think she'll have an eye on the Olympics and be looking to be able to peak for that. So I think this was probably a time in her career where she thought, I'm pretty confident that I am at an age where I'm in an ability physically where I'll be able to take a year out, come back and be just as strong coming into to the last few years of her career, depending on how long she wants to
It's going to get tight for her, though. I mean, qualifying for the Olympics, I mean, it's unbelievable with the criteria. I mean, it's going to be tight for her to qualify for that.
Well, or she goes in and she wants to win that African Games position.
Yeah, we've got all these.
Yeah,
I mean, it's going to be very, very fascinating to see how she does. But she'll be back with a vengeance. She's watching everything and she's seeing everything that's going on. She's obviously got the track record against Amina Orfi, who's never beaten her. and she's that. I mean, I can't wait for her to come back. Please come back.
It's tough, isn't it, from a woman's perspective, that you have to choose between family or your career as a squash player.
Well, I think what's going to be, I mean, obviously there's the physical aspect, right, of actually having to go through birth, which is one of the most difficult things, and then come back, right? So there's the recovery from that, then getting your body into a place where you're actually as strong as before. There's a lot of things that happen down there that really affect your stability, your core strength, and then your ability to absorb force. And as we've been seeing on the court for the last few years, the women's game is so much more explosive than it used to be. All those lunges into the front of the court require a lot of core control and hip stability and glute strength that is very, very fundamental with your pelvic floor strength.
All stuff that you can help us with. We've been watching the videos.
Lots more to come this week. So anyway, that's going to be a big thing for her. And then obviously the squash side. Look, her squash isn't going anywhere. As I'm sure she's been hitting the ball all the way throughout her pregnancy and probably not too long after giving birth as well. So that timing, it's never going to go away for Gohar. But
I'm not sure if she gave birth on a squash court, but I mean, if she's gone through all that and pain on the squash court,
same level.
I think she will. Pain on the squash court is going to be nothing compared to childbirth. I haven't had a baby yet, and I'm sure you haven't, Michael, but not yet. But I mean, I can't wait for her to come back, as I said before.
Okay, we're going to have a little look at the tour final standings. This is going to be the last opportunity for some of the athletes to qualify. The queue on the left-hand side of the players' names, they're players that have guaranteed themselves a place. Hania El Hammamy, who won the Egyptian Open, qualified automatically. Amina Orfi is the world champion. She qualified automatically. But there's a whole host of the names there, Joey, that could make it through into the top 8. Lot to play for.
Yeah, I mean, with the diamond, the way the diamonds are strung out with the Egyptian Open, if you win that in its entirety, you qualify automatically. This is the last diamond of the season, so anyone outside of that top 8 has a mesmerising tournament. They could qualify, but you have to say that that's not really necessarily going to happen with the dominance that we see with the players on show, particularly in the top 3, and Olivia Weaver there in the top 4. But the women's, this for me, if they're healthy, because we had an absolute exodus of injuries last year for the World Tour Finals on the women's. So many pullouts through. Cheviot didn't play, El Hammamy didn't play. If we get the full deck of cards with the women's, it's probably going to be the best World Tour Finals we've ever seen in Paris.
Hopefully. I mean, Orfi didn't play last year either. There's so many points and there's so much money up for grabs here at this tournament. That's something that, maybe not everyone realizes, right? Is that actually...
The money is important. So I'm thinking someone like Jonah Bryant, who's currently injured. He's not playing the British Open here, but he will have the opportunity potentially to qualify here as the men's. He's currently sat in 10th, but a couple of those players above him are struggling with injuries, big time.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to literally have to take an ambulance to Paris. I mean, it's so many people that are struggling on the back end. Joel Makin, he's been plagued with his knee. He had to pull out the World Championships as a walkover in the quarterfinals for Asal there. So all eyes on Joel Makin. But Mohammed is literally going to come in with his legs in plaster and play. I mean,
you might have to borrow Gautier's knee brace.
Could be an opportunity for Yao to suddenly storm in and represent Malaysia. But it's up for grabs there. Asal's obviously streets ahead of everyone else and will be there if he stays fit and healthy.
On Jonah Bryant, I know you've got sort of a bit of an inside scoop on his progress. He is back out hitting again.
Yeah, he's back hitting, but I think that matches are still a ways away. I was actually at the club at West Warwick's, which is where Jonah trains with Robbo, and they just had their conversation about is he going to play or not, and they made the very difficult decision to not play this tournament. Obviously tough, it's in your home country, your home city, or your training base. So, that's such a shame, but he's got to look at the big picture. He's still young. He's going to have a good 3-4 months of training get ahead of him and then come in and really start the season strong. So playing one event and coming up against one of the top players and maybe risking injury, if you're not really fully fit, it's probably not worth it for him.
If he does make the race and does make it into the top 8 because people drop out because of injury, and it's knockout format, is it? He could only just end up playing one match and take the money, so it could be a good way for him to get back into playing some squash.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he will. I was surprised that he pulled out so late in the day here. I just thought, don't put your name in the draw and it's a bit strange that it was such a late pull-out, knowing that he's not quite there. You just don't want to make that decision of going on too early. Nick Matthew had a massive shoulder surgery, took the time out properly, came back stronger and did it professionally, and this is exactly what Jonah Bryant needs to do for the new season coming up.
Okay, well, we're almost set here. Thank you very much to Nicole, and thank you very much to Joey. Joe, I believe you're in the commentary box with PJ for the first match of the day, which is Tina Gillis against Nadine Garas. But as you can see, we're just getting warmed up here at the British Open. It is day 2, round 2, and we've got all this squash to look forward to. 8 days of squash to look forward to here on the glass court, so we hope that you can join us. That's it for the preview show here on day 1 of the glass court coverage for us. But do come over and watch the squash if you can. Good afternoon. Oh, perfect cheer.